When Vito's son is murdered, he sets out for revenge. But what happens next shocks everyone. It was 2 a.m. and the night was bitterly cold. Vito Corleone walked down the dark street, his black overcoat billowing behind him like a cape. He had just left his wife and kids home, but he wasn't headed back to his own house. Instead, he walked toward Luca Brasi's empty mansion. Vito's destination was the basement. His thick black hair slicked back with pomade, his jaw set firmly with determination. He descended the creaking stairs. Luca Brasi was an underboss in the Corleone crime family. Michael replied calmly. Vito shook his head disapprovingly. "This isn't your war, Michael. Go home." He tried to push his son away, but Michael stood firm. "No, father. If they take one of us, we take them all." Until recently, he had been Vito's best friend. But 5 months ago, their friendship had ended. Sonny looked up, his face pale and drawn. "Your brother got what he deserved," he sneered. "He was a killer. Then why did he go to the Copa and beat up my men?" Michael's eyes narrowed. "Because they provoked him. My brother didn't start it." He stepped closer to the edge of the barrel, peering into the icy water. "No, please, I'll give you anything you want. Just don't." Vito cut him off. The liquid splashed onto his shirt, seeping through the fabric and burning his skin. The man screamed, clawing at his face. "You bastard," he spat. "You'll pay for this." But Vito just laughed. "Oh, I already am, Mr. Barzini. I'm already getting my revenge." Baronzini howled in pain, thrashing about in the water. But Vito wasn't finished yet. "It's too late, Mr. Barzini. There's nothing you can say or do to save yourself." "I'm sorry, but you have to die." He turned away, his stomach churning, and walked up the basement stairs. Every night, Vito would slip into the shadows, leaving his house and disappearing into the darkness. And as the weeks went by, the other crime families began to feel the full force of his wrath. One by one, they were taken out until only the Corleones remained. No one knew where he went or what he did, but rumors spread through the streets like wildfire. Some said he was meeting with allies. They had taken their revenge, but at what cost? Their family was broken, their honor was tarnished, and their future was uncertain. Others claimed he was taking out Barzini's men. But the truth was, no one really knew what Vito was up to. As he climbed, he heard his father's voice echoing behind him. He took the sleeping death very bravely. What had happened in that basement would change him forever. He realized that he had taken part in something great, something epic. He had helped his family get their revenge. They had come out on top. And now they would have to rebuild their lives and their empire from the ground up. Meanwhile, Vito was already planning his next move. With Barzini out of the way, he could focus on the other families. He would never forget the look on his father's face, the sound of his screams, or the sight of the sleeping death seeping into his prison. At first he thrashed around, but then he went quiet. When I came upstairs, I saw a big smile on his face. I ordered the hit because he was going to take me out. The sleeping death burned slowly, steadily, until its victim expired from a combination of factors. They died of a broken heart, starvation, or sometimes even exposure. It was hard to tell exactly how it happened, which made it the perfect murder weapon. Michael remained silent, staring intently at the man in the tub. After Luca's son Bruno was found dead in the middle of the street, riddled with bullets, everyone stared at him. Father Michael whispered, confused, "Why? Why are you stopping me?" Vito shook his head slowly. "Revenge is a dish best served cold, Michael. Killing him would be too easy, too quick. He deserves a slow death." The police had suspected it was another gang war, but Vito knew the truth. He knew who really killed his only child. Now he was going to make them pay. He drew his gun and aimed it at the terrified man. He stammered, recognizing the deadly contents. Vito smiled wider. "Special concoction, Mr. Barzini. A gift from the Japanese." He brought the vial closer, so his prisoner could see it better. They call it the sleeping death. It's 1 drop on your skin and it'll burn like fire. 2 drops in your eye and you won't be able to see the next sunrise. But before he could pull the trigger, a voice boomed through the basement. "As for you," he addressed the trembling man, "you will die the same way your father did. Slowly, painfully, and in the end, no one will know who killed you." Vito reached into his pocket and pulled out a small vial. It was filled with a clear, colorless liquid. Luca had been furious when his son was killed, But Vito had stopped him from taking revenge by putting a bullet in his other son. You wanted revenge, Luca? Fine. Take this. That's what Vito had said before shooting him. It had been cold then, too, and the blood had stained the snow a deep red. Startled, Vito spun around to find the speaker. I was wondering when you'd come. A figure emerged from the darkness, his face hidden in the shadows. Michael, Vito breathed. His youngest son had always been the most introverted and peaceful of his children. What was he doing here? What are you doing here, Michael? You shouldn't be out past your bedtime, he demanded. Vito had watched Luca die in front of him, and now he had come to collect. In the dimly lit basement, Vito finally saw his target. Soaked in a barrel of ice-cold water, slumped against the wall, was Sonny Barzini. The dawn of the Barzini crime family. Vito's eyes flashed with murderous intent. This was the man who had ordered his son's death. Now he would pay. But before Vito could strike the killing blow, a voice echoed through the basement. Don Corleone, it said. I heard what was happening, Father. I couldn't let you do this alone. Then Michael turned his attention back to the prisoner. Mr. Barzini, he began, my father has come to avenge my brother's death. That's a lie, Michael stated flatly. My brother wouldn't hurt a fly, Sonny scoffed. Oh, really? Sonny met his gaze. Tell you what, kid, if you let me live, I'll double the size of your inheritance. After what felt like an eternity, he finally spoke. Very well, Mr. Barzini. Your life is forfeit. Stop, Michael. It was Vito. He stood behind his youngest son, his face grim. Vito turned back to Sonny, and a cruel smile spread across his face. Sonny's eyes widened in fear. What? What is that? Barzini screamed. He raised the vial over his head and brought it down onto Baronzini's chest. He dipped his finger into the vial and flicked a drop into Barzini's eye. Meanwhile, Michael couldn't bring himself to look at the gruesome scene in front of him. Michael shuddered at the thought of what was happening to Sonny, but he couldn't deny that it was a clever way to get his revenge. Back in his room at home, Michael replayed the events of the night in his mind. But as the days passed and the memory of that night faded, Michael found himself feeling more and more powerful, and when his time came, he would be ready to protect his family and his honor. The time for revenge was now. He moved like a ghost, striking fear into the hearts of those he encountered. At the end, it was just Vito and Michael standing in the ruins of the old mansion. But as the sun rose over the horizon, they knew one thing for sure. They had survived. Now watch. Mafia boss reacts to modern-day Mafia. Or check out